Hey Taurus, I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to your New Year's reading where we take a peek at lessons that you may have learned over the past year and what your transition into 2022 is going to be like. So let's jump right in and start by pulling some oracle cards to see what energies are surrounding this New Year's reading for my Taurus collective. All right, and the first card out that we have is Go the Distance. So let's pull another and see what other energy is surrounding this New Year's reading for my Taurus collective. And the second card out that we have is New Beginnings. So this is super appropriate for the energy that's surrounding a New Year's reading. So Taurus, it feels like over the past year, you've probably been through some things, right? It feels like it's almost like when a runner is doing a marathon, right? And they have such a long distance to go and they don't start getting tired until like the last mile is what I just heard is the last mile. So it feels like even though this year may have been a little bit or a lot of bit exhausting for you guys, that you're kind of in the home stretch and this is the turning of a new page for you. This is a new chapter in your life. So it feels like just sort of beyond the symbolism that we have when it comes to a new year beginning, it truly feels like there's a new beginning waiting for you. You just have to sort of push through whatever it is that you've been going through over the past year or maybe even more. But it feels like, Taurus, you're almost there. So let's take a little peek at the tarot and see what's happening for you. So we're going to start by seeing what your major lesson was in 2021. What was a major lesson for Taurus? And we have the Nine of Swords. So this is a card of anxiety. This is a card of worry, right? So let's see if we can clarify that a little bit. And we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, and we also have the Magician in reverse. So it feels like the biggest lesson that you may be taking away from 2021 is releasing fear about your capabilities, about your self-worth. It seems as though there may have been some limiting beliefs that you struggled with, things that you wanted to achieve, things that you wanted to have in your life, the type of relationships, that you're looking for. It almost feels as though you may have been blocking yourself a little bit, thinking about the what ifs and, well, what could be and what if this happened and things like that. It seems as though there was a lot of stress applied to these things that you're looking for in your life. And I think that the biggest lesson for you to take out of 2021 is understanding your own strength, understanding your own capabilities, right? This is getting out of your head and letting go of the thought that you don't have what it takes, or you don't deserve something, or you're not going to be able to do something. This feels like the letting go of that energy, or at least coming to the realization that that's something that you do need to sort of start stepping away from. Now, looking at your biggest achievement from last year, we have the Five of Wands in reverse. So when it's upright, the Five of Wands is typically a sort of defending yourself, or I don't want to say being the aggressor, but sometimes this can signal someone who's a little bit quick to react or quick to take offense, things of that nature. So I feel like, your biggest achievement having this in reverse is being a little bit more measured, being a little bit more open to opportunities, new experiences, new people, or even people's perspectives on different things. So I think that you've spent a little bit of time sort of opening yourself up, Taurus, and getting a different, maybe better perspective on the world around you. So what you've released over the past year, we have the King of Cups. Now, it feels, Taurus, that there hasn't been a lot of room for love when it comes to your past year or so. It feels as though you haven't necessarily been offering anybody anything. I don't know that you're not willing to accept, but I don't know that I don't know that you know what you want right now. And so it feels as though you've been holding back a little bit, that you've kind of been focusing on yourself. Maybe you've dated casually here and there, but it hasn't been anything sort of serious, sort of long term or anything like that. And I think for some of you, you've almost given up on the thought of having love, of having this romantic relationship, of finding someone that you can offer your cup up to. But there's just this general energy of you focusing on you and not really focusing on relationships or love, which may have been a big theme for you over the past few years. So now looking at what you should expect this year, we have the Temperance card. So this is patience, right? This is finding that balance, finding that sort of equal give and take, your equilibrium. So I think over the next year or so that there are going to be a series of situations for you, Taurus, that are an exercise in patience. It's going to be an exercise in making sure that you maintain your balance, that you find your rhythm, so that you don't get overwhelmed or pulled in one direction over another. The biggest challenge that's facing you, biggest challenge that's going to be facing my Tauruses, we have the Page of Swords. So this is, the Page of Swords is typically the Watcher card, right? It's somebody who sort of sits back. They don't necessarily take action immediately. So I feel like the biggest challenge for you is going to be sort of maintaining, again, this is about patience and balance. And so the biggest challenge for you is sort of letting things play out and not being so quick to rush in, so quick to act. It feels as though there's a lot of excitement around whatever's coming towards you. Now that you're starting to come out of this energy of self-doubt and you're, sort of embracing yourself. I don't want to say like you're giving yourself pats on the back or whatever, but there's a lot more confidence, right? And I think that you are so ready to get out of this old energy and step into this new cycle of your life that there might be this sort of compulsion for you to rush forward and to just go, 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 go. And so I think that the challenge for you will be being patient, being observant, and getting as much information as you can possibly get before you actually act. So making sure that you're not being sort of super compulsive. So the theme that you have overall for the year, Taurus, is the Hanged Man in reverse. So this is someone, again, who is no longer in limbo. And we saw that here with a big lesson for you from last year is getting out of your head, embracing your gifts and your skills and your ability to be a competent human being, right? So this is getting out of that stuck and stagnant energy. This is you going the distance, moving forward, but in a smart way, right? Because we've already seen that with the challenge. Don't be too quick to rush, but don't stay stuck either. And I think that you're coming out of this energy. So the advice for this year, we have the Five of Cups in reverse. Now, when it's upright, the Five of Cups is all about regret and feeling lack, sort of crying over spilled milk. And we have that in the reverse here, right? So I feel like Spirit is saying no regrets. No regrets. This is your time to move forward again in a very smart and balanced, measured way. But there's no looking back here. There's no regrets that Spirit wants you to have about your path up to this point. Now your transition from 2021, into 2022, we have the Six of Swords in reverse, and we also have the Chariot. So you are absolutely moving forward, Taurus. We see that with the Chariot, that you are very rapidly moving into the next phase of your life. However, I want to be a little bit cautious in telling you right now that there are some people that may not be particularly happy with your moving forward. They may not be particularly happy with the choices that you're making in terms of your life trajectory going forward. So keep an eye out for them. They might not want you to have what it is what you want for whatever reason. It could be jealousy, it could be fear of losing you from their life, or whatever the situation is. But understand that there are some people who are not going to be as excited for your journey as you are. So let's pull a couple of last oracle cards, see what final message Spirit has for my... We're not taking all of those. We are definitely not taking all of those cards. Just one or two for my Taurus collective. We're not taking all of those either. Okay, let's try this again. Final messages for my Taurus collective. There we go. Got one that came out. And the first card that we have out is the presence of love will always cast out fear. And let's grab another. See what final message Spirit has for my Taurus collective. We are not going to take all of those either. Let's just one or two. One or two cards would be perfect. Okay, and we got like 5 cards. Taurus, I don't know what's happening with you, but there we go. All right, so we got 2 more. We have think things through, and we also have choose friends wisely. So again, I think that the first card that came out, the presence of love will always cast out fear. I think this goes back to the lesson that you have sort of learned when it comes to achieving things that you want in life, no matter what it is, career, money, relationships, etc., etc. It feels as though you were sort of stopping yourself a little bit because maybe you were in your head a bit too much. And it feels like with this card, Spirit is saying that those things that you truly love in life, that you truly want in life, they will be stronger than any negative self-talk, any doubts that you might have about whether or not you can have something or whether or not you deserve those things. Loving yourself enough to know that you are will allow you to move forward in pursuit of those things, which sort of brings us to the next 2 cards, right? So we have think things through, and we saw that for the theme and the challenge that you might experience in the new year, right? Where you're very inclined to sort of rush forward super quickly without having all of the facts, without knowing everything. So Spirit is saying that in all things, just take a quick step back and make sure that the decision that you make is going to be one that serves you, one that gets you closer to your goals. Just don't be so fast to rush forward into things. And choosing friends wisely. We saw that in the transition, right? That there were going to be some people that are not very happy about your progress, about you moving on to the next iteration of your life. So Spirit is saying to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on those people and make sure that the ones that you have around you are team you. Make sure that they are your cheerleaders. Make sure that they advocate and support you, you know, as long as you're making decisions that are healthy for you, right? Just be careful of who you surround yourself with. So Taurus, I'm going to leave it there for you guys. I hope that this was helpful and I hope that it resonated. If it did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. But in the meanwhile, stay safe, stay healthy, and I am sending you huge hugs.